word out, man. We're the only ones who understand, man. Okay? The rest of you Israelites, you're lost, man. So you're gonna get caught up in that first go-round, man, with Esau. Alright? You get a matter of fact, no, I wanted to go into to the birth of Esau and Jacob, man, to show you that you were really the Edomites from birth, man. Alright? That you were really enemies from the womb, man. And this is really going back to Cain, man. Okay? This is old hatred, all right? This ain't no new thing, okay? This is okay, this is Genesis 25 and 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padamaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Alright, so the children struggled together within her. Alright? Which means that they were fighting within the womb, man. Alright? So before they were even born, man, these two children, Jacob and Esau, alright? Jacob being the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel, alright? And Esau being the progenitor of the Edomites, alright? They were fighting from the womb, okay? So that shows you that there was a contention from the womb, alright? Let's continue with that. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So it didn't say they were going to come together. It said that they would be separated from the bowels, man. Alright? So we were separated from these Edomites from the womb. Most High told them that they were going to be 2 separate nations with 2 manners, 2 different characteristics. Alright? Because one was going to be the wicked and one was going to be the righteous. Alright? 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Alright? So the one people that's stronger than the other people are the Israelites, are us, man. Alright? It's clear that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are stronger than the so-called white men. Alright? It's clear as day, man. Alright? In every way, shape, and form, man. Alright? Spiritually, physically, mentally, every way, man. Alright? Let's continue with that. And the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Alright? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Alright? So Esau, right, which is the progenitor of the Edomites, alright? Which is the majority of you so-called white people, go back to the line of Esau, alright? He came out red, man, alright? Which means he came out with a red pigmentation of his skin. Why? Because he lacked melanin, right, or pigmentation, so his blood shows forth through his skin. To this day, man, they call them rednecks, right? They call these Edomites rednecks, alright? Because why? Their blood shows forth through their skin. Alright? They're not white people. There's no such thing as white people. There's red people. That's why it said Esau came out red all over like a hairy garment. Especially when they're babies, man. When so-called white people come out when they're babies, they're super red, man. All over. Okay? And that's what Isaac saw. He saw a red baby. Alright? And he called his name Esau. So that's the forefather of you so-called white people, man. This is the first so-called white person on the planet, man, that we're reading about. Alright? Let's continue. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. All right, and the word Esau is Ishashua in the Hebrew, all right, which means wasted away. The thing that was wasted away on it was his pigmentation, all right, because every other people had pigmentation at that time. All right, the only reason you wouldn't have pigmentation is if you had a curse, man, going back later on in your life, man. That was the first child that they really seen that came out red, all right, that came out like without pigmentation, all right. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. All right. So Esau and Jacob, okay, they were fighting from the womb. The first came out red, so that's how we know that Esau is the so-called. That's one of the reasons we know the description of Esau represents you so-called white people. Okay, because what? Esau came out red. All right. When you look at you in the mirror, you don't look at white. White is within this garment. You see white, man. All right. You're not that color, man. All right. You're red. All right. That's why they call you rednecks down south. Okay, because you're red. The blood shows forth through your pigment, through your skin. Okay. Let's continue with that. Okay. And when it talked about Jacob. And after that came his brother out, and they called it, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Okay, so the reason why he didn't mention Jacob's pigmentation, because Jacob came out brown. Okay, Jacob came out like everyone else on the planet, man, at that time. All right, Esau was the oddball of the bunch, man. Okay. And then there's a reason why. Because when we read, what was it that we read? It was Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, where it said, the people might curse the judgment. Okay? Right? So that shows you that Esau, which is the so-called white man, that's the people of the Most High's curse. Okay? He put that mark upon them, which is the mark of Cain. All right? Which is the stripping of their pigmentation. All right? Because every other nation on the planet has brown skin. Every nation. When you go to East Indian, Asian, all right, they all have brown skin, unless they were mixed with these Edomites. But they all have brown skin, okay, originally, all right. So the fact that the Most High made them like that, right, without pigmentation, the fact that they burn up in the sun, shows that they are the people of the Most High's curse, okay. Let's continue, man. I'm gonna read a bit down. A bit more down. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. All right. So who do you know to be a hunter, man? All right. The main hunters. When you look at the crocodile hunter and these different people, man, and the people down south who always hunted, man. That's the characteristic of the Edomites, the so-called white man. All right. That's not a characteristic of you so-called black people. All right. You Latinos or you Native Americans. All right. Native Americans, they hunted for what? For food, man. They hunted, they used every part of that animal for food. They weren't over-hunted. Okay? But you Edomites, you so-called white people, you over-hunt. Okay? You hunt to the point where the people start to be extinct. The animals start to be extinct, excuse me. Okay? That's because that's part of your characteristics, man. That's how the Most High made you. The Most High made you to be a cunning hunter. Okay? Let's continue. All right? And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. All right, and I believe when you go back to that word plain, it means righteous. All right, so he was a righteous man, right, who kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and well, they didn't have it at that time, but he basically, they had a verbal statutes and commandments. The law was passed down orally at that time. All right, so he was righteous, meaning he kept the law, statutes, and commandments, okay? And he was dwelling in tents, man. He wasn't all out in the field hunting, all right, for days and, in the grass, looking to hunt every day, man. Nah, man, he was chilling, basically, okay? And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field and he was faint, man. All right. So when Esau came from the field, right, he was faint, and Jacob was cooking that pottage, man. All right. Our forefather was cooking that pottage. All right. And Jacob said,